The Orion Grassroots Network, which is a Revelation Action partner, asks, grassroots fundraising is about developing donors and supporters/members from the same pool of people, and many nonprofits report that it's more sustainable funding over time versus focusing on big donor grants. What's your experience with grassroots fundraising?
Our reason for being is grassroots fundraising. Our reason for being is the person who has just $10 to spare, but who wants to feel like a philanthropist and get the same choice and accountability and vivid feedback that until not long ago was reserved for millionaire benefactors. And yet, as discussed earlier, we absolutely do rely on institutional funding to fuel citizen philanthropy and to support as many students as possible. So we're not yet able to say that grassroots fundraising is the end-all, be-all, and is immediately preferable to kind of business development work.
Here's a question from Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners Association, a Revelation Action finalist for Common Ground Country Fair. There is no shortage of insightful and creative ideas and initiatives to support, but without an effective process to surface the right ingredients in an idea, to manage the initiative and convene the appropriate stakeholders, good intentions rarely see the finish line. As funders of change, how much emphasis do you place on process and the capacity within the organization requesting support for collaborative leadership to ensure that real adaptive change is realized?
I think we don't place a great deal of, we don't think as much as we could about process. We do think about tools and about organizational culture to make sure that ideas are bubbling up from every level of the organization. And we're a 53-person staff team, so when I refer to an organization, I'm not referring to any large bureaucracy. And those tools range from Yammer, which is sort of like a corporate Twitter account, to a wiki where colleagues can create pages dedicated to any topic and share ideas, to brown bag lunches that we hold where people can share what they're up to and solicit feedback and get ideas for improvement from colleagues who may not even be in the same department. And there's a great cultural emphasis on getting ideas for improvement from everybody in the organization. And in fact, our very model is about innovating from the bottom up. But in terms of process itself, I do have a couple colleagues who are really smart in that arena, but I'm afraid I'm not one of them.
Well, you mentioned that DonorsChoose.org and even yourself that you're growing and evolving with this, with the sector, with philanthropy and with creating these platforms for social change. I think it would be really beneficial to the entrance and to the Twitter community and to the Revelation Action and Changemakers and Green Mountain Coffee communities on the whole. If, as a final question, we could hear a little bit about what sparked this within you.
Sure. Well, I was a social studies teacher in the Bronx for 5 years, and the impetus to start DonorsChoose.org was a series of conversations that my colleagues and I had in the teacher's lunchroom about books that we wanted our students to read and art supplies that we needed to do an art project and a field trip that we wanted to take our students on. And then the fact that we were spending our own money on copy paper and pencils and seeing our students go without the materials and experiences they needed for a good education. So I created this really rudimentary site, and my mom made dessert for my colleagues, and I put the dessert in the teacher's lunchroom and said, whoever eats this dessert has to go to a newly created website called DonorsChoose.org and post a request for the project that you've always wanted to do with your students. Request the resources you've always wanted for them. 11 of my colleagues ate the dessert and posted the first project requests, and that's what got us going. But the inspiration really was just I had amazing colleagues at this high school where I was teaching, just brimming with dedication and passion and smarts, and I figured if anything could tap into that passion and dedication, it could create a fount of innovative ideas and solutions for kids, especially from low-income communities. So that was the impetus, and 10 years later, I'm learning as much now as I was 5 years ago. So it's every bit, if not even more, exciting than it was in the early days.
Charles Bess, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, and really with the community on the whole. I think we're going to learn a lot from this.
Oh, thank you so much. The questions were awesome, and I really had fun.